Hey everyone, welcome to Esther's Gardening Adventures. I'm Esther, and today I'm going to be doing a special short video showing you what my yard, my front and backyard looks like pre anything really special done to it, just to give you a sense of what I'm planning on doing this year and kind of to set the baseline for how far I have to go still. Two other things. One, I'm going to do my first live stream on the 13th of March at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. So please make sure to be available for that. It's a Saturday. And I hope some of you will tune in to have some friendly faces there. I would love to see some of the people who have commented and made this channel so much fun for me and hopefully for you too. And then the other thing is, you may have noticed that I have a little bit of makeup on and pearls and my hair's done. And yeah, I had a work thing today where I actually had to be gussied up, so I won't say how long since it's been since I've worn makeup, but I normally don't do that because I kind of intentionally don't do that. But yeah, today's a pearl day. These are actually the pearls I wore at my wedding, so I enjoy wearing them because it reminds me of that great day. All right, now on to good things. When we bought the house, I noticed that there were these volunteer daffodils, and they are starting to come up. There's another one there, and then there's two more there. And I purposefully, when I set up this shade garden, I purposefully set it up so that I didn't go over, you could see right outside of the daffodils where they grow, because I didn't want to prevent them from being able to come up. And I'm so looking forward. You guys, this is the first real sign of spring, and it makes me so happy. So happy to see. I've talked a lot about what I want to do in the front, but I really want to also do stuff in the back. Let me start off with, this is one of the 2 shade square foot beds I have in the backyard. I haven't touched it since November. And you can see there's like some grass and other things growing here. I've just kind of let it be. But check this out. This is arugula from last year that is still growing. Crazy. I'm going to eat it. I pray that... Okay, so it's not as tender as arugula usually is. But, wow, that is a strong flavor. It's a little bit tart, so I think it's either gone to seed or it's past its prime. But the fact that arugula is still growing in the garden right now, just crazy to me. One of the big things I want to do this year is really improve on how my beds look, just kind of the aesthetics of them. Last year, when we replaced the wooden fence, I had the guy keep the metal poles, and I thought, oh, I'll use them, but really they just aren't pretty. So I think what I'm going to do, and also I need some kind of stake or something to help hold them. I think I have a rebar on the bottom of these, kind of sitting in a rebar, but they're loosely in there. They're not really holding up the edges. So I need to decide what to do with them. I may spray paint them, but more likely what I'm going to do is just get some PVC or some wooden stakes and just make nice, neat corners, even corners, because even over there, it just looks so, is ratchet the right word? That's a word I used to know. But I have done a little bit of work in this bed. This is my berry bed. And this is my raspberry bush. Now, admittedly, I know very little about maintaining raspberry plants, and I'm a little bit terrified that I've done it wrong. But I looked them up, and one is one that grows on the old year's vines or whatever they're called, growth, and the other one does the other. But I just trimmed back the dead part, the used parts of the branches. I cleared out the most weak ones, but not all of them. There's still some more I could do. But the branches were like extending out to here. So I've just trimmed them back a little. And you can see the strawberry plants that I had back here. Ow, just got pricked by a trimmed raspberry vine. The raspberry plant and the strawberry plants are still going strong. So I think I will have a really nice small strawberry patch. I also took a closer look earlier today at the blueberries plant, and I was really afraid that I had killed them because the raspberry bushes were just overtaking this entire bed. I definitely did not space things out well. But I saw a sign of life. Look, guys, there's some green. My blueberry plant is alive. If you have tips for how to save it, should I transplant it to a better place? This is a part shade area. It probably only gets like 5 hours of sun. I thought it would get more. This is the other one, and I don't think those leaves are part of the plant. But I'm excited to see that at least one of them is still alive, and I need to research what to do, and I'd welcome your suggestions on whether I can and should transplant it to a better place with more space, or would it be better just to leave it here? We'd be going to the 2nd year of this plant, and I know 3 to 5 years before they start producing blueberries, so I'm really not sure what the best move is. Here's my 2nd square foot bed in all of its glory. These are nasturtium plants that died back, and I think when they cut down the tree, if you watched the video, we had some trimming done. When they cut down the tree, they tossed some of these grates in here, but there was one. This is the bed I'm going to have my mustard and peas in, and then later in the summer I'm going to have beans growing in here because they do okay in part shade. But as you can see, I have not started cleaning them up, and a big part of that is to allow the natural ecosystem of sheltering beneficial insects and possibly not beneficial insects kind of where things lay. So it's not pretty, but this is one bed that I will probably have to disturb before they recommend, which is in a couple of weeks, because this is going to be one of the ones where I'm transplanting some of my cool weather veggies to. And then lastly, here in the backyard, you can't even, oh gosh, I need to pick that up. You can't even see it, but right down here is a small thin bed that I had my cleomes and some other flowers on, and it's at the edge of this patio. And I really need to clear out all the grass and all the junk, and I want to extend, not patio, this concrete, I guess it's a patio. Anyway, I want to extend it around the edge of the concrete thing, maybe because the sun hits really well over there, so I think that's it. And this gives you an idea of the other side of the house. That over there is sort of our small brush pile, and that thing was stacked up to there at the beginning of the year, so you can see how everything condenses over time. And then in that corner behind the air conditioner is where I usually have my compost. Another area I want to do something is, this is a full shaded area behind the house, and I'd like to do something here that's like shaded plants that can just kind of be low maintenance, take care of themselves all day, but look better. I don't want to do just straight mulch, and in fact mulch is not good near the siding of a house. You'd be better with pebbles. So I would welcome your suggestions. Maybe I'll just make it a nice Japanese style rock garden eventually. You know, we're thinking long-term plans here. Love to hear your suggestions. And as you can tell, I'm getting pretty far on putting jugs together. Very soon I will have to move them over here. And I have started, because I have more jugs, but I really don't want to use an entire huge jug for a herb that I don't need a huge number of. So I have started dividing up my jugs in half. See, one half is cilantro here, the other half is dill mammoth. I tried to do things that will sprout around the same time, so 2 cool weather veggies together, and I've done some other herbs in divided containers, and I have labels on either end of the container to help mark where I put the seeds down, which side is which. Hopefully that'll work. I will report back to you guys on whether it did later on. And then also, we have some sprouts, and I'm not going to show you all of it now, but here's a taste for what I'm going to show you this weekend to tell you what it is. Anybody want to guess? Anybody have an idea? Tell me in your comment. Here are my blackberry plants that I really don't know what to do with. I may just leave them here. They get a decent amount of sun. I really don't want to plant them and have them take over the yard. Has anybody here noticed whether they can do okay in part shade? If you have a sense of that, let me know. But these were ones I got from my neighbors across the street when they were moving out. And they said they just gave me little tiny pots, if you see that video. And I put them in bigger containers just for last year until I could figure out what to do, but I still haven't figured out what to do with them. I don't know. But it's a good problem to have. Here's the front yard, and you can see I've already started piling up the soil mixes I've got to do. This is, I'll do a quick check-in on this bed. You can see the garlic. This is normally my tomato bed, and this was last year my tomato bed. It'll be again this year. But you can see the garlic shoots are still coming up. Let's see if we can dig down in here. Oh yeah, looking good. Looking nice and healthy. And they're lining the bed. And then this is my one, let's see if I can get this right. This is my one kohlrabi plant that survived out of 3 that I planted in the fall. And it has survived all of the big frosts. I do cover it when it's going to have a heavy sleet or freezing rain because I don't want it damaging the leaves, but I don't cover it if it's cold at night otherwise. And it's done pretty well. So this is my tomato bed. It's 4x4. This is one of the tomato beds. Then this area is about 5x5. This is where I tore up that huge holly bush. And as you can see, I'm still digging up roots. And I wish I'd saved a photo of one of the roots I dug up. It was about this far around. I kid you not. It was massive. And even though we had it drilled down, I really don't want to use this bed until I get most of the roots out, just to make sure the hollies don't come back as much as I can before I start putting down good soil on top of this, good compost mix on top of this. But this is going to be one of my flower beds this year. Once I get it cleaned up, this is going to be, if you saw me how to draw out your bed, this is going to be the pepper bed and possibly some squash and eggplant. And oh man, he's turned around. Let me show you. I got this at the dollar store and it makes me so happy. My little llama. I should have bought a whole bunch of them, made a little robe, but he's just so cute. Oh my goodness. Yes, I'm turning into the lady who has little decorations in her yard. Yes, I'm not upset about that. I almost forgot to show you my purple Brussels sprout plant. It's doing so well. This bed here was one where I had tomatoes and beans, and you can still see behind the leftover stalks of my Mexican sunflowers that were volunteers. I'm probably going to pull this bed out a little further. I plan to put the sunflowers behind this area, the ones that I've talked about in my video, and then I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with this bed, but I'm definitely going to extend it out some more. That was kind of a makeshift bed. Here's the containers that I have not dispensed with. I have more than this, but these are some of the containers from last year that have just been sitting out here. So this gives me more opportunity. Not here, I would actually have to move them to a sunnier spot, but this gives an opportunity for some container growing things. When I mentioned in the video that I want to plant something, I'm going to be planting that dwarf chamomile under the Japanese maple. This is the Japanese maple. It's not very tall. It's beautiful in the spring. And you can see around the bottom, I really haven't done anything with it. And I was thinking that I'm going to, out from where that other bed, the no-dig bed that I just started, I'm going to extend the border from there down around to here, and then back over where sort of this natural path has started forming down to about around here. And that's where I plan on building out the shade plants, starting with the dwarf chamomile. So I think that'll look really beautiful up against the tree. And let's see if it's got any buds coming out. Yeah, we have some buds growing, guys. Look at that. Little buds starting. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then this is the no-dig bed that I started, if you saw that video. I haven't really done anything with it since I did my last thing. I need to pull the leaves back on top and put those bags of compost you saw up the street out here. But this is going to be the primary big flower and herb bed. I haven't measured it. It looks probably 5 to 6 feet by probably 9-ish feet, maybe 10 feet long. I should measure it, and maybe I'll do it before I post this video, but probably not. And So this is going to be the area where I'm planting the majority of in-ground flowers and native plants, including potentially some sunflowers along this border. But I don't want them to create shadows, so maybe I'll do it along this border. So yeah, that gives you an idea. I'm not really doing anything with this area, which is mostly shade over here yet. This is going to be a project for next year. And I might do a little bit with this bed here that goes back to where I have the bin. But that one, I mean, as long as I keep it pretty clean and whatever, it should be fine. This is the big new project this year. So I hope that gives you a good sense of my tiny yard and how ambitious I'm being. I really want to make the yard prettier this year. I want to make it more presentable for myself, for my neighbors, for you. And I have a lot of work ahead of me to get this done. But who was it that posted either on this channel or in one of the groups I'm in, posted about gardening being basically a long-term project, and that's so true. And I hope you don't expect, as I don't expect of myself, to have everything perfect immediately, but I sure can make it fun and maybe a little bit better looking along the way. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. I'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions. I'm still going to work on trellis stuff. I haven't quite figured that out. But yeah, if you're not already a subscriber, please consider doing so. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it. And otherwise, I will see you next time. All right, bye.